I, 35M, was incarcerated and lost touch with 33F. It's been over 10 years. Would it be wrong to contact her? When I was a university student, I fell in love with Daria, not her real name obviously. She was the little sister of my best friend, so I considered her off limits, but my crush on her persisted and grew. She's one of those beautiful, brilliant people who is alive and breathing to make the world a better place. How could I not be drawn to that? One day, she told me she had feelings for me, and to my relief, my best friend didn't have a problem with me dating his sister either. So for 2 wonderful years, Daria was my girlfriend. I should have asked her to marry me. I don't know why I didn't. I suppose I thought I had all the time in the world. We were young and there was no need to rush things. We lived in a country that isn't exactly democratic, and we were political activists. I ended up getting arrested and going to prison for 9 years. Please don't think I'm some kind of monster for this. I don't want to go into detail in case it makes me identifiable somehow, but we didn't hurt anyone or do anything immoral. What we did is not even illegal in the country where I currently live, and our beliefs were far from extremist. I haven't seen or spoken to Daria since the day I got arrested. My best friend died shortly after, and Daria left the country, partly due to the possibility that she'd be arrested too. There wasn't any way for her to contact me while I was in prison, though apparently she contacted my dad a few times in the beginning. Things got even worse in our country while I was incarcerated, so my dad and I immigrated when I was released. We've been living in Western Europe ever since, and life is pretty okay. I live with my dad, and I have a steady, if crappy, job. Months ago, I found Daria online. She lives in a neighboring country 7 hours away by rail. She doesn't use social media too much, but from what I've seen, there's no evidence of a partner or kids. And even if she's married, I'd be content just to be her friend, as I was for the first years we knew each other. Part of me desperately wants to reach out to her, and my dad has been encouraging me to do so, but I'd feel like it'd be too selfish. The circumstances of her brother's death were very traumatic for her, and I'm afraid that I'm just a living reminder of all the bad things that happened to us. And if she does have a partner, would my contacting her offend him and trouble the relationship? I don't want to cause her any more sadness. Time stood still for me while I was in prison, but I know it didn't for her or anyone else. She's done so well for herself. She's built a whole life, and I don't want to derail that life just because I feel entitled to a place in it. She might not even remember me at all, and even if she did invite me back into her life, I'd be nothing but a burden now, owning to my wrecked mental health. We've been apart twice as long as I knew her. Have I even the right to miss her as much as I do? For now, I've contented myself with Googling her name ever so often and seeing that she's okay. It just hurts a lot, and I don't know how to make it not hurt. I still love her with everything I have. I probably always will. Should I reach out to her or leave her alone? If I do contact her, what should I even say? Should this guy contact her? Absolutely. I think he's overthinking it. Obviously, that's simplifying it because he was in prison for almost a decade, but I think he's a little bit overthinking it. I think he should contact her, reach out, say, hey, would you like to meet? And if she says no, or you've ruined my life, or you make me sad, then, then at least you know, right? You don't want to live with regrets, people. Anyway, let's continue. Update. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who offered advice or kind words. I had spent so long ashamed about my situation and expecting most people to react very negatively if they knew. I had barely discussed it with anyone before, except my dad and people whose job it is to help me, lawyers, therapists, etc. And I was very surprised to be met with so much compassion from a bunch of complete strangers. Thank you. Truly. Several people asked for an update, and that's the least I can do in return. I sent Daria a message the evening after I made my post. It was something like, I don't mean to intrude, but I wanted to say hello and thought I would give you my new contact information in case you ever felt like getting in touch. If not, that's completely fine too. I left her my mobile number and email address, wished her well, and that was that. I knew it might be a while before she responded, if she responded at all, so I tried to put it out of my mind. Early Monday morning, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number from the country where Daria lives. Who else would be calling me from there? I panicked a little bit, but I managed to answer in time. She asked a few times if it was really me, and I couldn't tell if she was laughing or crying. At first, she called me by the very affectionate version of my name she used to, but then she quickly apologized and corrected herself, which broke my heart a little bit. It was an awkward phone call, but not in a bad way. I was extremely nervous, and it seemed like she was too, but happy also. Some of you mentioned that Daria would want to know that if I was safe, and this was more true than I could have guessed. Because unrest in my country increased a lot during the last year I was in prison, she was afraid that they would decide to quietly kill me rather than let me go. There are documented cases of other prisoners like me having met very suspicious ends in the months before my release. so it wasn't a totally unreasonable worry. She also said she repeatedly tried to send me parcels of supplies and put money on my commissionary account, but her attempts were rejected without explanation. After my sentencing, I was not allowed to receive correspondence or to have a commissary account at all because of the classification of my crimes, so she was forced to give up. She told me this as an apology, as if I would have been disappointed with her for not helping me more. I had no idea she had done any of that. I do know that it was not a safe thing for her to do, and I feel terrible that she put herself at risk trying to make me a little more comfortable. She didn't seem to want to talk about what happened any more than that, so we didn't. We changed the subject to more lighthearted things, our jobs, the cities where we live, how my dad is adapting to a new country, etc. When she arrived at work and had to end the phone call, she asked if I wanted to continue talking through a messaging app. Obviously, I said yes and downloaded it immediately. We sent messages throughout the day, and she even interrupted her commute home to send me a picture of a restaurant modeled after one of my favorite books, just because she thought I would like it. She told me that she thought of me every time she saw it, but unfortunately the restaurant itself was not so good. I was afraid she wouldn't remember me, but she even remembers the things I like to read? She remembers a lot of little things, even stuff I forgot. We have been sending messages back and forth ever since, and talking on the phone after I finish work at night until she gets too sleepy. Sometimes it feels like I'm 24 and she's texting me from a few blocks away, as if the next thing she might ask is what's for dinner. Other times, it seems like we're trying to will dead versions of ourselves back to life in order to avoid acknowledging what we've lost. She seems a lot more timid than she used to, more passive, which I suppose makes more sense. Sometimes I worry about how much I've changed and that maybe she won't find anything left in me that's worthy of her. But if I could express in words what it feels like to hear her laugh, I could explain that there's also a lot we know very well. She hasn't lost her kindness or her warmth or her empathy. She still cares about me, and I still care about her. I know that rebuilding a friendship after all that's happened will take a lot of patience, and I have plenty to spare. I'm just happy to have the chance to get to know her again. This morning, Daria asked if I wanted to have a video call sometime this weekend. I agreed, but I'm ashamed to admit that as much as I want to see her, I'm very nervous. I look so different than she would remember. My jaw's messed up, and I have the teeth of a hockey player. Fortunately, I will qualify for healthcare insurance soon and be able to have it fixed. I lost weight that I haven't put back on, and I see an older man in the mirror. I am also worried that I will get very emotional when I see her and embarrass myself that way. I don't really cry in front of people. I'm not used to it, and this doesn't seem like a good occasion to start. Aside from not wanting to appear pitiful, I don't want her to feel forced to comfort me. If anyone has some advice on how to handle this, it would be very much appreciated. Overall, this week could not have gone better, and I am extremely grateful to everyone who has given me the little push of courage I needed to send her that message. 1,000 times. Thank you. This was a lovely story. You guys ever watch those war movies where the guy is journaling his thoughts and feelings and writing about the girl at home? This guy writes just like that. He's got all these emotions. He doesn't know how to express it. I think she still wants to see him. Right? I didn't mention it in the first commentary, but I was like, she wants to see him again. I could just feel it. This has all the makings for a good ending. Please. Okay, next story. Story number 2. My boyfriend, 19M, wants to leave me, 18F, because I wasn't happy enough about the baby that he didn't want to have. I recently found out I was pregnant. It wasn't planned. I'm only 18 and I was terrified. I'm not ready to be a mom. I really would love to be in the future, but not now. I told my boyfriend and he was in favor of getting an abortion. He said he wasn't ready. I agreed with him, but was so scared. I wanted to talk about all our options, but anytime I would mention adoption or keeping it, he didn't want to hear it. He even said if I kept it, he would try to be in the child's life, but he could not be with me because he would never look at me the same if I decided to inconvenience him by keeping it. He later took that back. This has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I went to the doctors and they took my HGC level. They said it wasn't high enough and it looked like the pregnancy wasn't viable and the baby wasn't healthy. This crushed me because even though I didn't think I could be a mom just yet, the face that my baby wasn't healthy and probably wasn't going to make it hurt me. I cried and cried to my boyfriend. He's not the best with comforting me. He usually just sits in silence until he figures out something to say. I understand that he's doing his best. I was crying to him because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to have children later in life. I asked him, "Do you think I'll be able to have babies later?" He said, "I hope so." Then he started talking about the movie Up and how the couple in the movie can't have children. He said, "I wonder if that will be us." That made me feel worse. I just wanted some comfort in that moment, not that. So I told him I had to call him back. The next day, he texted me saying he wants to get a paternity test. He was mad I hung up, I guess. He then called me and went off on me. I don't even remember everything he said, but it was bad. He told me that the baby wasn't the mistake that I was. He said, screw you and the baby. He said that I have had nothing good to say about the baby, which isn't true. He told me I'm a horrible person and that he doesn't want to be with me. He said that he would never want me to be the mother of his child. He said he didn't care because the baby is going to die anyway, so screw it. It was horrible. Later, he called and briefly said sorry, but then started demanding I tell him when I was going to abort it. Even though I already told him I don't know if the baby is going to survive, I might miscarry. He apologized later. Today, I got my HGC levels back again and it went down. It looks like my baby is going to die soon. He then told me that he doesn't want to be with me because I was not happy enough about the baby and other girls who would be grateful to have his baby. I said, how can I be happy when I will have to get an abortion? He said I could still be happy, it's his baby. He said I did nothing to comfort him and he feels alone with me. He doesn't want to be with me. I'm so traumatized after the whole situation. How do I handle this? Young love, oh boy. Obviously, he's freaking out, and he's not handling this situation good at all, right? Like, yes, she's the one with the baby, but also that's his child, so he's got emotional stake in this as well, but he just seems to be handling this in a really jarring way. Wouldn't you guys agree? He's like, I don't want the baby, but you're not sad about it? Like, what? What are these emotional gymnastics you want out of me, Fred, huh? And this poor girl, 19 and pregnant, or 18 and good grief. I hope they sort it out, but they need to talk and be like, yo, what is going on? Next story. Story number 3. Husband, 44M, says, I, 43F, need to take ownership of my mistake. 19 years married. Husband says, I need to take ownership of my mistake. What do I need to do? How do I fix this? My husband has been out of town for work for a few days. I've been cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, and doing some laundry, as well as taking kids to high school, sporting/club activities. It's Saturday. I've been home with the kids for about 1 to 1.5 hours when he gets home. The first thing he asks is why the house smells like crap. The 3 of us who have been home don't smell anything. We all look confused. I say, I don't know, but I'll go check it out. I go outside a few minutes to clear my nose when I come back in. I still can't smell anything off. I tell him I don't know, but I'll try and fix it. I take out the kitchen trash. I open windows to air out the house. He's still going off on how he can't believe we don't smell anything and it's disgusting and stuff. I tell him I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'll get it taken care of. He tells me that the friends he stayed with while out of town have pets, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and some frogs, and their house never smells like crap. I got mad because I'm trying to do something about it, and it's not like our house smells constantly like what he's smelling. So we get into a fight. He got mad at me for yelling and told me I had an ego problem because I got mad at him for basically telling me I suck at taking care of the house. He told me that I need to learn to take ownership of mistakes. I told him it wasn't fair of him to compare me to our friends and then tell me I had an ego problem when I got mad. He said I had to take the gruff when I made a mistake. And as the adult in the house, it's my mistake if the house smells bad. And if I can't learn to take ownership of my mistakes and admit when I'm wrong, then our marriage might as well be over. So, perspective please. Define mistake for me. I can't even. Do I need to apologize? What do I need to consider? How do I handle this? P.S. The smell? The best guess I have is it was from the laundry, but I'm not certain. I was washing some bathroom towels and floor mats in hot water with borax. He cheated. On the trip, he cheated with somebody. That's it. I already know it. I would accuse him immediately. No, I really do think he cheated. Something in my heart tells me he did something on that trip. Also, she did nothing wrong. Even the kids couldn't smell anything, so she did nothing wrong. Next story. Story number 4. My wife, 28F, decides not to wear the ring I, 28M, got her. My wife and I have been together for 13 years total. Her wedding ring is moderately flashy, but nothing amazing. Her childhood friend gifted her a pretty flashy ring for her birthday. I thought it was awesome, but she wears it instead of mine. Not on her ring finger, but on her other fingers. I asked why she does that, and she claims she doesn't want to lose it or she forgets to put it back on after taking it off to do housework or work from home. This weekend, we were invited to an anniversary party. We were all ready and noticed she was wearing her friend's ring and not her wedding ring, so I asked her if she was going to put it on. She says no, that she was okay without it, and hurried out the door. I asked her why she wasn't going to wear it. She claimed it didn't match with her outfit. It didn't sit right with me, so I asked her if she liked her friend's ring better than the ring I bought her. She said no and to drop it. I said no. I want to know why you decided to wear her ring and not the one I gave her on our wedding day. She didn't say anything but told me I sure know how to ruin a night. She was pretty upset pretty much the whole time. I just want to know why she decides not to wear my ring. Any advice or ideas? I feel like she's not giving a good enough reasoning. Right? If I was the guy and I have no idea how much money for a ring, right? He may not be a rich guy. Rings are expensive, right? Like, you gotta work for those or pay them off for a long time. And then she's like, I don't want to wear it. And then keeps brushing it off. I would feel pretty slighted, right? You know, I don't know about anyone else, but I'd be kind of mad about that. You can wear multiple rings, people. And maybe, from her perspective, maybe the ring is really freaking ugly. But again, it's the thought that counts, and she needs to talk about the ring, and he needs to talk about his feelings. Next story. Story number 5. My boyfriend, 23M, and I, 24F, haven't been the same since I had our baby. Me and my boyfriend have been struggling since I had our baby a couple of days ago, June 16th. We've only been dating for about a year and just welcomed our new baby into the world. When in the hospital, I had 2 male doctors check if I was dilated enough, and my boyfriend says that has turned him off completely. He said it feels like he has lost his treasure. He's upset that some nurses saw me naked and is uncomfortable with me pulling out my breast to feed our new baby when other people are around. He told me he has lost a lot of love and trust in our relationship because of this. He says it feels like I cheated on him. It really hurts me because there's nothing I could have done, and I ended up having to get an urgent C-section. I wasn't dilating past 8 centimeters, and my epidural failed. It was really excruciating for me mentally and physically, and feeling like he wasn't there for me just made it so much harder. I was just trying to give birth to our baby. Our relationship hasn't been the same since we don't live together, so I've been staying at my mom's house since I've had the baby, and he's only come to visit twice. And when he was there, he said he doesn't feel comfortable laying next to me. He doesn't want to cuddle me, and we hardly kiss anymore. My heart hurts so bad. I don't know how to help him get over this, and I don't know how to get over it myself either. I feel so unwanted. I feel so alone just having had our baby. I feel like I'm doing it all by myself. I just don't know what to do anymore. What can I do to help us get past this? I'm taking the gloves off here. Okay, you guys ready? Glove number 1. They've been dating for a freaking year, and they already had a baby. Rarely, I don't think I have, no, a year? I don't even know if they're married. Yeah, wait, no, she calls him boyfriend, and they already have a kid after a year, so they clearly don't know each other well enough. 2, this guy's a freaking idiot. Your girl is out here struggling, having to get emergency C-section, trying to give birth to your child, and you're like, why did you get naked in front of the nurse? Bro, what? You think the baby just comes out of her jeans? You think the stork drops it off? This guy is so stupid. Oh, my precious wife, her boobies were exposed to the nurse. What, were they fondling her? What an idiot. Oh my God. What is this? Maybe there's a cultural thing that I'm not seeing here. They didn't say where they live, so maybe that's part of the reason. But even she doesn't, like, understand his thought process, so I usually don't. I usually try and be nice and try and see things from both perspectives with this. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Bye.